executive producer Lillian Garcia. Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, speaker, and 15-year WWE host Lillian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce WrestleMania and is now the PFL MMA cage announcer. Oh, yeah! And now she's giving you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes, extraordinary entertainers, and wellness experts. Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey of chasing glory with your host, Lillian Garcia.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Chasing Glory, as we all continue to chase our glory in this life. But guess what? We don't have to do it alone. And it really helps to hear different people's perspectives and their stories and their journeys and how we can learn from that. And today I have somebody very special because she is definitely dropping some lessons at such a young age, something that she's experienced from when she was 3 years old, starting to compete. Whoa. All right, it is Kelly Kelly, as we know her from the WWE days, and Barbie Blank for everyone else in the world that knows her as Barbie. And so we dive into a lot, but before we get into the episode, just want to remind you guys that you can see it now on video. You can go to youtube.com/Lillian Garcia. The episode is right there. You can just Google it, my name, Kelly Kelly, and you will see it. And then you can also listen on podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can follow the show at Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me at Lillian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter, and Lillian Garcia official fan page. We've got you covered wherever you want your information, whether it's Chasing Glory or whether it's about moi. All right. Hope you guys are having a great time in your life. I hope that things are going well for you. And if they're not, it's okay. Just know that we all go through our ups and downs. So today, as far as Kelly Kelly, she's just somebody that as soon as she came into the WWE, I instantly bonded with her. She's got such an amazing energy about her. Great spirit. She is an all-American girl. I mean, that's who she is. And just her smile, right? She walks into a room and lights it up. And she would smile in that ring and everybody just loved her. But she's gone through some ups and downs in her life. And so she really does open up about that. And the good parts and then the sad parts. And definitely losing her father was one of those down parts. So we do talk about that. She's never revealed like all the details as to how that happened. So never before shared stories. That's what you're going to get here. And before we get into Kelly's episode, just want to remind you guys to please definitely continue to join me at PFL. MMA World, it's amazing. This month is the playoffs. We are in it. You can catch us weekly on ESPN as we continue the journey to the $1 million given away in each 6 divisions. So $6 million is going to be given away on New Year's Eve at Madison Square Garden. Don't forget, of course, to join me for that. But in the meantime, join us for the playoffs. I'm the in-cage announcer. It's been spectacular. Just crazy, outrageous. So join me for the PFL, Professional Fighters League, MMA League. All right. So without further ado, here is Kelly Kelly's journey of chasing glory. Born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, Barbie Blank knew she was destined for a career in front of the camera. She would grow up participating in gymnastics when an injury forced her out of it, which transitioned her into the sport of cheerleading. After graduating high school, she would get into modeling and would enroll at Florida Community College to study broadcast journalism and pursue becoming a TV anchor when she would get discovered for an opportunity of a lifetime. She would get noticed in a catalog by the WWE, which contacted her modeling agency to offer her a WWE contract at the age of 19. Having watched with her father when she was younger, she jumped at the opportunity and reported to their developmental territory to begin her training. She would get fast-tracked to the new ECW brand and became a fixture on their weekly television program as Kelly Kelly. Although inexperienced in the ring, Kelly would go back and forth between appearing at live events in different towns and the training facility in an effort to learn the craft of pro wrestling. Her hard work wouldn't go unnoticed, And she would be featured in many storylines on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, as well as continuously being a top contender for the Divas Championship. After numerous close calls, Kelly Kelly would achieve the pinnacle of her wrestling career when on Monday Night Raw she defeated Brie Bella for the WWE Divas Championship. She would hold the title for over 100 days and even earned a Slammy Award for her title victory. In 2012, after 6 memorable years, Kelly would depart the WWE, but would still light up the television screen when she was announced as one of the cast members of the e-reality television show WAGS. She starred in all 3 seasons of the show, as well as making her acting debut on an episode of Days of Our Lives. She would never be too far from her wrestling roots and would make history by competing in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, in addition to wrestling at the first all-women's WWE pay-per-view, Evolution. At Raw Reunion, she became the first female ever to win the WWE 24/7 Championship, adding on to her already storied legacy. Only in her early 30s, Kelly Kelly has had a career that most have only dreamt about, and she still has no signs of stopping. It's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with Kelly Kelly. Oh my God, here you are. It's finally happening.
Finally. Sorry, it's taken forever. I'm like,
It's okay.
Schedule. Both of our schedules are so crazy.
I know. But it's cool, right? Because we're both doing stuff.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Trust me, if I was born and not, I would be like, oh my gosh, Lillian, I will be in here every day.
LA now.
Yeah. LA.
So no more Vegas.
No.
How was Vegas?
It was
Dry and hot.
Yeah, like when people are like, how did you like living there? I would never recommend living there. It's great to visit, but living there is just awful. It's just not.
Because it's just dry and hot.
Yeah. And then what do? Do you go to the Strip or do you just sit at home? Because like, and when all your friends want to come in town, they want to go to the Strip, and you're like, oh my gosh. And it was like every weekend somebody would come in, and it was like, okay, great.
But there are people that love it.
Yeah.
I know like Renee Young lives there with Dean, and they love it. I hung out with her
one time there when she first moved there, and they really like it.
Hey, it's to each his own, right? Because
I think it's a love or hate. I don't think there's
a
in between. I think you either love it or you hate it.
Because I know that there's some people that love LA.
Yeah.
Or they hate LA.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
We love LA.
I'm kind of mixed. I'm mixed still. But yeah.
Oh my God. All right, so I just saw you at Raw Reunion.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yay.
Because you got to win the 24/7 championship.
That was so hot.
The first female to win it. Oh my God. And then 2 females won it that night because Candace won it.
Yeah.
That's
it was
awesome.
amazing.
How was it for you to know that you were going to be now a 2-time champion?
I mean, it was so crazy because Paul Heyman called me and he was like, hey, so we have this idea. It's literally the day before and I'm flying out. He's like, I hope you brought like some gear. And I'm like, yeah, I did, but like I didn't. Yeah. And he was like, well, we have this idea and you're going to be the first ever woman to win the 24/7 title. He's like, do you know what that is? And I'm like, kind of. He's like, oh, okay. It was the hardcore title. Okay.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, got it.
Got it.
And I was like, that's amazing. And I was like, what's the twist? Like, what's going to happen after, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, your best friend Candace is going to be for it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Let's do it.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. And
if
people are going to love it.
If anybody was going to beat you, that's great.
I loved it. I loved how it all went down. I loved how we did it. It was just great. It was so fun.
And what a fun reunion just to see everybody.
It was, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love it because we all sat at catering at one point.
Together
for like 2 hours. It was like we never left. It was like we're just waiting to be told what we're doing today. And
I will say that I remember us looking at each other going, we missed this, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily being on the road every single week, but the camaraderie that you meet, in the locker room and the relationships that you form. Is that something that you miss the most?
No, that's what I felt the same time. As we're sitting there, I just was like looking around and I was like, oh, this is what I miss. And if we could do this once a month, it would be so great.
Right.
Yeah. It was really, that's one thing I do really miss is just being around all the girls and having those relationships and, talking every day. And because when when you're not on the road and you don't see these people, you don't really talk, you lose touch and it sucks. And it's, you wish you did have those friendships still, but it's life. And
What's been the hardest thing for you for the transition? Because you were WWE for 6 years. What's been the hardest part of it?
Well, when I started, I was so young.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
So young. And I was thrown into it. And so I never really got to grow up, really. So when I retired, I was 25. And I was in in a relationship, and I was just like, he was on the road because he was playing hockey, and I just was kind of like, what do I do with my life? Like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
And I became like kind of like housewife. Like I just was cooking, and I was because he had two daughters, and so I was taking care of them, and you know, it was fulfilling, but I still needed something for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? And so luckily WAGS came about, and that kind of really helped me transition, because I don't know what I would have done without that show. I was just so bored.
Right. How was that show for you?
I enjoyed it. It let me get out like that entertainment and like that bug that I love wrestling and being able to entertain. And so I was able to kind of channel that into WAGS, and I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it.
What was the downside of reality?
I mean, the
TV.
cameras are like, when I was going through like my separation, I wish that would not have been on the cameras, but it was my real life and it was going on. And as like, we're filming stuff and we're in the midst of, you know, arguing, and I can't shut that off. Like, I'm just going to have to let it roll. Like, I tried for a good 45 minutes as we're shooting a scene. I'm like, I just can't do it. And I was just like, sorry guys. And they just got it. You know, they got what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, there wasn't really too many downfalls.
Because was it hard, the fact that you got married on the show?
I got married on the show, yeah.
And then you got separated on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. And they say that a lot of times when reality TV is around, that it can dampen the relationship. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's what happened?
I don't know. It may have had something to do with it, because I was traveling, because we were living in Vegas at the time.
Yeah.
So I was having to act like I lived in LA.
Oh.
So I was flying to LA for 4 days and shooting. I was staying in a hotel. They were putting me up in a hotel. And so I wasn't even seeing him. Hardly.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was like I was back on the road wrestling, basically.
Right.
And that definitely did not help the relationship. You know, and I think he didn't like being around the cameras. He didn't.
Oh, he doesn't.
He only did it for me. Because, you know, he's like, I want to support you. I want to support what you're doing. And so he would come on here and there, but other than that, he was just like, I don't really, this is your thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's fine. And then when we got married, you know, they were very respectful. Like, they stood back. I told them, I was like, I don't want you interrupting one thing. You are going to get what you're going to get. And it is what it is. So
why? Because they would interrupt and try to stage things?
I just know how reality TV is with weddings. And that was one thing that Sheldon was like, look, if we get married on television, they're not gonna interrupt. Like, they're not gonna like tell us they need to see this again, or you know what I mean? Like, they're gonna back up. So we had a talk with them, and they were so respectful. They stood back. There was no cameras in anybody's faces. They made themselves very scarce, and just let us. And so it was great. And we didn't even, you know, at one point know they were there.
Oh,
so
that's good.
It was great, and the wedding was amazing. It was like a dream. You know, it really was. And I put everything into that wedding, and it was genuine. Like, we had our friends and family, and it was.
So how hard was it, though? Because it lasted a very short time.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the total for years? 2 years?
We were together altogether for 6 years. I met him when I was 24 years old. And, you know, so I was very young.
Yeah. But you were married for how long?
A year.
A year.
But we were together, so 5 years, married for a year.
Okay. And some people wonder about that, right? Because you dated longer than you were married.
Right.
What the heck happened? And there's some people that go, that's why I don't want to get married. Because something happens when you get married, and then all of a sudden you're divorced within the year, but yet you were dating for 5. Right. What do you think, like, looking at that, what would you say to people that are saying that?
Well, there's so many different factors. And I wish when I was getting into this, I have always wanted children. That's always been a dream of mine. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he had 2 daughters before me. And when it came down to it, you know, a year in, I was like, hey, like, kind of bringing up the baby stuff. And he's like, I don't.
And you guys didn't talk about that before?
We did, but he was still kind of like, maybe.
Ah.
And then I think as time went on, he felt more of the pressure. And I think we just were in different places in our life.
Yeah.
And meeting him at such a young age, and he's 11 years older than I am.
Okay.
And, you know, so by the time I was ready, like 29, he was like 40. Like, he's just like, I'm not ready. I don't want to do that again.
And there's no knock against that with him.
And I'm not willing. And that's one of my non-negotiables. Like when it comes down to, I'm not willing to settle for that. And
Yeah.
because that's one thing that I've always wanted.
Why? What does having children mean to you?
I just always, like, I saw how I was raised, and I saw how loving my mom and my dad were. And they gave me such an amazing childhood, an amazing life. And I want to do that. I want to have my own child. And because there are a lot of people, well, you have stepdaughters. And I'm like, yeah, they're amazing, but they're not mine.
Right.
You know, and just, I don't
You
know.
want the experience
I want
of
the
birthing
experience.
and-
I want to
yeah.
have that just look at me and be like, Mom, like, it's just, you know, that's why I got a dog at first, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, to start
yeah.
out. But I don't know what it is. It's just, I've always just wanted to have my own baby and have a child. And yeah.
So that was the biggest lesson you think you learned from that relationship?
I think so.
From
I
marriage?
think just, I should have, there's things that should have been talked about before we got married. You know what I mean? And at such a young age, I was rushing into things because, you know, everyone's pressuring you. You need to get married. You need to have a baby. You need to, you know, you've been with this person, like, especially my family, because they're very old school, like Southern Baptist. My granny is like, Winnie, because she's like, now she's 88. And she's like, okay, when are you where's my grandchild?
Oh,
At like
right.
24. I'm like, oh my gosh. Imagine I'm 32 now. Still haven't given her the grandchild. That's happening. It's going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, so I just feel like, you know, don't rush into like, there's things that you should talk about. There's just, you know, it's hard because you can't just have love. Like love, yes, it could, but there's so many other factors that you just have to figure out if you could be with that person for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And we just were two different people.
So when it went down, in fact that it went down on cameras and all, was it pretty rough then?
It was because when we stopped filming, it was good because they didn't get the going through everything. Like they just got the fighting and all that stuff. Because when I was on in LA, I was filming and I was going out, and he didn't like that either. So it was like, you know, he's like, you could be at home, you know. So there was like, it definitely the show definitely caused tension after the wedding, and still having to shoot all the time, and you know, the scheduling, because he had retired. So he was at home.
Oh, wow. So
And
the
that
tables were
Yes,
reversed.
girl, yes.
Oh my God. Now he's like the house husband.
Yeah, kind of.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, get it.
So, you know, and I enjoy working.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy having my own thing. I can be housewife all day long, but I just need something.
Yeah.
And I don't think he could handle that either.
Got it.
So there was, you know, it's just, you guys have to be on the same page. You guys have to want the same things. You have to support each other no matter what. And I take some blame for it too. Like, I could have been there. I probably could have done more. You know, like, there's a lot of things that, you know, I wish I would have done, or, you know, he wishes he would have done. Because we sat down and we had a talk after everything. And, you know, we just were like, look, we're two different people now,
Yeah.
you know, than we were when you were 24, and, you know, and
Right.
we were dating and even engaged and married. Like, we just faded out, you know.
I'm glad that you guys got to talk
Yeah,
about it, but
me
I'm
too.
also glad that you're taking ownership for your side
Yes.
and he's taking ownership for it. I think that's great, because when you try to point the finger on one person,
Yeah.
that's not fair. There's two
No,
people in the relationship,
yeah, I'm like
no matter
a million,
what.
like 1,000,000%. I will take the blame. You know what I mean? I hate that too. I hate when girls are like, oh no, he did, and then I'm like, no, I got to take some part.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's good. So now you're in a new relationship.
Yes, I am. It's been 2 years. Finally, I found somebody.
Okay. But
Yeah.
he is definitely not a camera guy.
No.
Like, tell me about him.
So
How did you met?
So we met at the dog park.
Oh, yeah?
We met at the dog park.
Wow.
We live like a mile down from each other.
Okay.
He walked in. I feel like I was kind of like wishing him into existence. I was like, I just need 6'4", handsome, tattoos, like in shape, great job, great personality. Like, I just was saying all this stuff to myself the day before I met him.
Wow.
And I'm not kidding. Like, I've never been to this dog park, mind you. It was my first. My girlfriend had been telling me to go. She's like, oh, I just took Bambi there. You need to take Bambi to the dog park. And I'm like, all right, fine. I have 20 minutes. I'll take her to the dog park. And I see this man walk in, and I'm like, oh my, where did you come from? Because you don't, like, there is no one like you in LA. Like, I was just like, oh my God, I'm sitting there. He has a French Bulldog and an American Bully. And I just was like, okay, I can strike up conversation about her dogs. So I literally was like, I'm not letting this pass. So I walk over and I'm like, hey, like, how old are your dogs? Da, 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 da. And he was just like, whoa. And so we started talking, And I had to go, and he was meeting a friend who at the time I didn't know was a girl. And so I'm like, oh, dang, like he's got a girlfriend, right? So we don't exchange any number. All he knows is Barbie, and I used to wrestle. All I know is his name's Joe and lives in Playa Vista.
That's it.
And and so I get home, and I'm like, dang, I'm so bummed because I was like, I don't know. I'm never going to see this guy again. I tried to do a little research on Instagram, like Joe Playa Vista. Right? Like, I was like, I feel like that's what people
Detective
do now.
time.
Yeah. Like, location, Playa Vista, Joe. Like,
I love it.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not finding anything. So I just let it go. Like, I was like, well, if it's meant to be, I'll see him at the dog park again, right?
So now every day you're like,
I know, I'm like waiting for
10
hours. Like, oh my God, he is not here. So then I get a DM 2 days later, and he's like, hey, Barbie, this is Joe from the dog park. That's great. He's like, let's meet and take the dogs to the dog park at 3. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
And so we sat there for 3 hours. We ended up going to dinner and then took me home. And then after that, like, we were inseparable.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
It's just such a great
awesome.
story. And
It is a great
it's so
story.
crazy. It's so crazy.
But you put it out there as to what you were looking for. So I think it's important. I always tell people with your vision, with your career, whatever, what is it that you want? You got to be clear. You got to be detailed. I love how detailed you were. Tattoos, 6'4".
Girl, I was like throwing all of it out there. I'm like, what do I have to lose?
That's true.
You know?
What do you have to lose?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God. You seem so happy.
Thank you.
And he's okay with what you're doing?
He is like the most supportive. And I've dated, I'm 32 now. I've gone through my fair share of relationships. I have never had a man support me the way that he does. It's mind blowing. And I don't know if it's because he's not in the business and he's not like jaded to it, or he's not like, I have to go to one of your events. Like, he loves going to the events. He loves standing next to me, like taking photos. He's just always by my side. He's talking to people, like, and vice versa. Like, same with his job. Like, I support him whenever he has events or stuff going on. Like, I'm right there for him. And I just think it's so important to support each other. Yeah. Because if one person feels like, oh my gosh, all I'm doing is give, and they're not, it's like they feel neglected.
Right.
And so it's just not fair. And so I've tried to I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to always be about me and going to these things. Like, I want to show you how supportive I am of you, your job. And so,
oh, yay.
Yeah, it's so great.
I'm so happy for you.
Thanks,
you
Mama.
seem different too.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. Because I mean, I knew you.
Yeah, no,
the
you've
other
known
one
me
too,
for
right?
13 years.
Yeah. I can't believe that. Oh my
No.
God.
I know. Can you believe that?
Just put a number to it. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. Time flies.
I know.
Dude, time flies. But I have seen you in other
And
relationships.
you see me go through.
You seem calmer.
Yes.
You seem more content. You seem less. There's just no stress about it.
Right.
In a way.
Exactly. And that's how it is. There's no drama. It's just good.
Okay, so what's great about that is that there are some women that if there's not drama and it's too good and the guy's too nice, they don't know how to handle that either.
It's very true.
And they sabotage it.
It's very true.
So, but you say that you had parents that love each other and so you saw that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, they separated at a young age, like when I was 7. But my dad never remarried.
Okay.
And my mom never remarried. But she dated.
Okay.
But there was never anyone close to like even getting engaged or married. And they always kept like a good relationship. They always lived like a mile down from each other. So we had that closeness. Growing up, my dad and my mom, and they got along. They got along for our sake, always, they would have they would say little things here and there to us, just my dad more, just kind of like, oh, your mom,
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Dad. But it was nothing, like they truly loved each other. And so you could see that as we got older too, how they bonded over us and, especially when we were teenagers and having to go through all that.
Yeah.
That's when they definitely came together and
So when this was happening at 7, do you remember that? Do you remember how hard it was? Or
they made it just so, I'm not going to say easy, but they tried to make it as comfortable and as possible.
not a thing?
Not a thing. No. No. And I was very into sports, and so was my sister. And so we were very consumed with that. Like at 7, I was competing in gymnastics, like competing every weekend all over Florida, having to go, 3 hours away, 4 hours. And then when I wasn't on the road, I was training in the gym 3 hours a day at like 7 years old.
Oh my God.
So
Speak to me about that.
It's crazy.
When did you start gymnastics?
When I was 3.
3.
Yeah. My uncle opened the first ever gymnastics gym in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And so my mom was like, I was like all over the place. I was jumping. She's like, we gotta put her in something. And so my uncle was like, put her in the gymnastics. Put her in like the little, tumble class and let her run around.
Wow.
And
so
that's
you
how
were
it started.
competing from age?
From like 5, 6. Yeah.
For you competing that early, looking back, what has that done for you in your life?
Well, I always loved like being out there, right? Like I loved competing. Like I loved competing. I hated losing. And that's why I always did like just me sports. Like I never really played team sports.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just loved, because I loved the competition and I loved being seen and I loved, the outfits and I loved the performances and and my mom she was like, okay, you're meant to do something. We don't know yet, but you're going to do something. And it definitely helped. Gymnastics definitely molded me. It helped a lot with wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, I put so many things that I used to do, backflips, round, so many moves that I used to do. It came out and I was able to kind of do that too, and so that definitely helped. Wrestling. Yeah.
Because my God, you had to learn. It's kind of like me. You and I were both thrown to wolves.
Oh my gosh, girl, both right? Yeah.
Both of us. I didn't know what I was doing.
No,
First day on the
exactly.
job, they're like, "You're going to be the ring announcer tonight, and you're going to replace the legend Howard Finkel." I'm like, "Wait, what?
Yeah. No, and you're
How
like,
do you
oh
do
my-
this job?"
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
guess.
you get thrown in, but before we get into that story, because I got to hear it. So you're 7, but when did the injury happen in gymnastics?
So actually,
Like how long did you compete?
I was competing in gymnastics, but I had broken my tailbone at home.
Oh.
I was standing on a bedpost, like balancing on one leg,
Oh God.
and I.
Oh my God! And the post went right through you. Ouch!
It was I was in the hospital for like 3 months. I had like 4 hematomas. I was like bleeding internally. My mom had to donate her blood. I was losing so much.
How old are you?
I was like, it was the 1996 Olympics because I remember watching that. So 9.
Oh my God.
It was bad. And after that, I was just like, I just can't. I couldn't move how I did before. I don't know. It wasn't going to happen for me. Because it's like, where are you going to go? You're going to go to college for it? You're going to go to Olympics? I was like, no. At this point, I'm like, I would rather, because it's like, do you want to have a childhood? Do you want to have friends? Or do you want to just be in the gym 24/7? And I was like, no, I'd rather be with my friends. So I got into competitive cheerleading, and that was kind of my outlet for that. And I did, I played tennis, I did swimming. My mom put me in every sport.
I didn't know you were a swimmer. I was a
Oh,
swimmer.
yeah? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, what was your...
Well, it started backstroke
okay,
until...
that's hard.
Well, I loved it. I don't know what it was, but I loved it. But you have the ribbons, right? That you count strokes to know where wall is.
Right.
If people are wondering why those ribbons are there, they're
So you
not
don't hit your
decoration.
head, right?
Literally, as you're going back, as you know, when you see the ribbon, if you've counted it out, you go, okay, whatever your stroke is, right? 7 times and the wall will be there, so you don't have to keep looking back.
Exactly.
Well, apparently I was kicking a little too hard or something because mine was 7 strokes. And at 6, wham!
No.
I hit the wall with my head so hard.
My gosh.
So right there, it turned me off from backstroke. I got terrified. It's kind of like the whole thing with gymnastics, right? You get where I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't compete. So breaststroke became my thing. And I loved breaststroke. I loved butterfly, the beauty of butterfly, but God almighty.
It's so hard. You're like dead. I'm like, when can I breathe?
What was yours?
I think it was butterfly, actually.
Oh, you did?
Or no, breaststroke. Breaststroke.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I'm like, that was the easiest one. I liked it.
Well, I don't know if it was easy. I don't know. There was just a thing that I got this.
Yeah, if you
could
got
really,
the motion, you're good.
I
You're
love
golden.
like pushing the water underneath where it spouts out like a professional. Like I was like, I look like I'm in the Olympics.
Oh my God, I'm
There's something so fun.
true.
All right. So anyway, so you're doing all these sports. This is great. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I did so many, and then I was in high school, and I was like cheerleading in high school, and then for a competition squad. So I loved cheerleading. I don't know, it's performance aspect of it again, right? And then I got into, when I was 18, I got into bikini modeling, and there was like a circuit, Hawaiian Tropic circuit, right?
Yeah.
And you could be 18, and and I remember going, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they're in like these tiny bikinis, and I remember going to my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, how do you feel? She was like, I'll go with you.
Oh wow.
And she would stand.
Because you went to Christian school.
Yo, yeah. But I started at Christian school. I think my mom was like, let me just get the early teen years and get her in there. And then as she so I went to a public school in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Because I was like, Mom, I don't want to spend my high school years in this Christian school. It was great for what it was. Like, I don't know why she felt the need to do it.
Yeah. Does that make you rebel?
Not really.
No? Okay.
No. I feel like if she made me stay there until I was like in 12th grade, yes.
It would have, yeah.
Because I was going to rebel no matter what.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like 17, 18, when I was in my senior year, oh my gosh, I skipped school. I just put my mom through heck and back.
Really?
Oh, I was terrible. Because I was so over school. I was like, oh, I'm so done with this. Like, I don't want to be in school anymore. I don't want to do this. And I was just like, whatever. I would get suspended all the time. I just didn't care.
Wow. Yeah. Do you regret that now?
No.
No.
No, not at all. No, I loved it. I loved every bit of my senior year. I had the best time.
But did you graduate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I mean,
I don't know how.
I was just going to say.
I did.
How, if you're skipping school and all?
I still would study and stuff like that, but just enough to get by.
Yeah.
Just enough.
So what would you say then to kids that are feeling that way?
Don't do what I did. It's hard to say, because it's like, for me, I was able to stay a good student and kind of do what I wanted, but I feel like you still have to like study, and you can't like just be like, oh my gosh, I'm done with school altogether. Like, if you know that that's not what you want to do after high school, then that's great. But like, at least go through, get a high school degree, and then figure it out.
Yeah. So you're glad you got your degree?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Right.
Oh, it was the scariest thing too. I remember like a few months before graduating, and they were like, "Well, I don't know," and I was like, "Oh my!" And I really freaked out. And from then on, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get it together." But it's scary.
Yeah.
I was like, if I have to come back here. No. I was like, no. This will not happen.
Time to buckle down.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta get it together.
Wow. Oh, you poor mom. Right?
Oh my God, bless her heart. Yes.
Did your dad give you lectures?
He more was like the cool dad. Like, he would be like, Barb, you gotta. And my mom was the disciplinary. Like,
that was the same with me.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I always ask, because I find it very intriguing, like, to see, because my mom was like the disciplinary. She was the spanker. Yep. She was the one. My dad was kind of like, oh, well, wait till your mom gets like.
Me too. And my dad was in the Army. So you would think it'd be the reverse.
Oh yeah. Right? Oh my gosh.
You would think my dad would be like, no, get on time, this and that. No, my dad was like, it's okay, honey. Whatever.
That's so, but it's probably because he always had to be that.
Maybe that's what it was.
And like with you, he's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. But my mom then would get pissed off at him because she's like, you're making me be the bad guy. Yeah. And that's probably what Dad was like, yep. And
but they understood it. Like,
Yeah. Wow. And your dad, God bless his soul. I'm so sorry you lost him.
That was definitely the hardest thing I've ever.
Has it been a year?
Mm-hmm. It's been a little bit over a year now.
Okay. Because I remember when you were going through it, we were touching base because I had lost Dad. Right. So I understood the hurt that you were going through. He had cancer, right?
Yeah. He passed away of a very rare brain cancer called glioblastoma, which, I mean, it's so rare. Like, it took 2 months for the doctors to figure out what it was. And when they found it, he was already... But it came on so quickly. I mean, he, in December, was like, I'm not feeling well. and symptoms were happening, and we didn't know, and we took him to the hospital, and they were like, they diagnosed him with like muscular dementia or like all these other random, and we're like, no, it's something. And my sister was the one, she was like, no, I know Dad, and she's like, it's something in his brain. And she was like, I want a brain biopsy. And nobody in Vegas, that they moved to Vegas, so my sister and my dad, and the Vegas healthcare is so bad. So bad. They were like, we don't really want to do it, we're like, scared, like we don't. And I'm like, look, we've exhausted all the options. Right. I want to know we've done everything for him, because it was really me and my sister. We were there every day in the hospital. Yeah. From the morning to the night, and every day for 2 months. I moved back. Basically, I was living with my sister, and my mom. She's back in Florida and she's working full time, so she was trying to come when she could, but it was really just me and her, my sister, fighting every day in the hospitals and the doctors. It's awful. Like I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen people just look at you, walk in, they're like, oh, and then.
Yeah, don't care for another human.
Yeah, it's whatever that compassion is, they just don't have it. And we just went through it, and I remember them saying, look, they went in finally, and they were like, he has, this rare brain cancer called glioblastoma, and we can try and cover it with and chemo, but they went in and they took it out because it was a tumor. Okay. And that's what was pushing on all of his, what was making, because he went into this hospital and he was speaking, he was talking, he was walking. Within a week, he was gone. He was like a vegetable. Like he just looked at
After they took him out? After they took it out, you said?
No. It took 2 months for them to finally go in and take that out.
Right, okay.
And so, because they didn't know what it was. Right. And so he would look at us every day, and he couldn't say anything. He didn't. Dang it.
That's okay.
It's, it's hard.
Yeah, I know.
To see your dad, every day, and you're looking at him, and he's looking at you, and you don't know. You don't know what's going on in his head. You don't know if he's in pain. Yeah. So you're just kind of sitting there just like, what do we do? And so they diagnosed him. They took out the tumor. And they were like, there's a small chance when we take it out that it could go away, right? And he could start speaking. And so that was our only hope. And 12 hours later, they were like, he's exactly the same. So they were like, you have to start thinking about hospice. And we were just like, okay. And I remember my sister was like, I have to get away. She's like, I have to get away for a night. Like, let's go to your house in LA just for the night. And the doctors were like, yeah, like, you guys need to go. You've been in here for 2 months, and it's not. You just need to get away a little bit. Your dad's, nothing's going to happen. Okay. He's in stable condition, like nothing, And we were like, okay, we feel comfortable enough to go. So we literally left that night, flew to LA. The next morning, my sister got a call like 6 a.m, and they're like, you guys need to get back here. He's on life support.
Just when you left. Oh my God.
He got like pneumonia, and like both lungs, and like they were like, we had to put him on life support. So we need you guys to get here because you're gonna have to make the decision. And I was just like, And my sister got there first because I had something in the morning, and I was like, I'll fly there, because I didn't know how bad it was until she got there, and she was hysterical. And I remember calling my best girlfriend, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't get on this plane and have to like be the one to like say to take him off. And I was like, I can't do it. And she's like, I got you. Like, it's gonna be okay. And she like, God bless her. Like, she changed me. She got my bag ready. She like dragged me into the airport. I got on the flight. I got there, and they were like, it's up to you, and let's give it the night. And in his will, he didn't want to be resuscitated. So I knew that. So I was like, okay, so they were like, let's give it the night, and then tomorrow we'll decide. And you know. And so we were in there, and it was probably like 2 a.m. and then we're like listening to me. We're playing like Tom Petty and stuff, like playing music. So I don't know. We were reading that helps, right?
Yeah, we did that for Dad too.
Yeah.
Played some
so
music.
we played like what he liked. And,
Yeah.
And my sister was like sleeping in the corner, and I was kind of like nuzzled up to him. And I just remember like the life support thing like going off, right? Oh, thank you. And oh, you're fine. And the life support monitor was like starting to beep, and I was like, ugh. And I just knew. I was like, here we go. And I woke up my sister, and the nurse came in, and she's like, it's time. And he's going. And we just laid next to him, and he passed. So I know the only thing that I get from it, and this I can take solace in, is I feel like he didn't want us to have to make the decision. He wanted to go on his own.
Oh,
yeah. He never wanted us to see him in pain. I think he was waiting for us to leave. He had known, and he wanted just to like be done. That's how he wanted to be gone, was just me and my sister by his side. And, you know, that's what I take away, is like, and what gives me comfort is knowing that it was on, you know, he passed away how he wanted.
Yeah. That's exactly, it's so wild. And, you know, and until having this conversation and hearing all the details, how similar it was, because, you know, my sister and I were there with him as well. And, I mean, I remember it because with him, it was Christmas Day, actually. And I remember waking up, and when I saw the way he was, and he wasn't just Dad anymore.
Right.
I said, God, you want to give me a gift right now? Just take him.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gets to a point where you're like, you don't want to see them like this. You don't want to see them in pain.
1,000,000%.
And, you know, laying next to him. I mean, I hope that when I pass, I can have loved ones around me. That's the most beautiful thing. So take solace in the fact that he went with you and your sister. Oh my God, the comfort that must have given him to pass is a beautiful thing.
That's the only thing that makes me feel good about, you know, the whole, like, you never can be prepared to lose a parent. Never. You know, nothing can ever prepare you for that. Right. So it's only the things like that you feel like that knowing that we were there with him, and that's what he would have wanted. He didn't want to be in pain. He didn't want us to see him in pain. You know, it's all those little things that really, you know, get me through. And when I get sad, it's like, you know, I know that's.
Have you been able to feel him yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too.
Yeah.
It took it took a year.
Yeah, same.
Okay. And then now I see I
remember I had this conversation with you, and you were like, you had asked me, have you felt him? And I was like, no. And I was like, I really want to. And you're like, it'll happen. Like, give it time. Give it time. Yeah, I remember us having that conversation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you said you had a dream?
Yeah, I had a dream. And he was like, he had gotten up, and I remember just laying there, and he got up from the bed. Like, he was in the hospital bed, and he got up, he took everything off, and he was like, I'm okay. And I was like, Dad, I just want to hug you. And he's like, you can't, you know, not now. But,
okay.
You know, yeah.
Have you seen signs? Like, I get signs.
I don't know if I've gotten a sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dad shows up in the number 8.
Oh, yes.
It's
I remember
wild.
you said that. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So wild.
That's so crazy.
And so many
How
things.
often do you see it? All the time?
And it became during Christmas. It was crazy. Again,
oh my
he passed.
Gosh.
It was. Now I look forward to Christmas, and this is why I also share with people and tell people about the fact that Dad passed on Christmas Day, and now I celebrate Christmas even bigger. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that lose a loved one over the holidays, and then that turns them off from the holidays. Right. And I'm hoping that they can change their perspective on it and be like, no, that's when you should really go overboard, because their spirit is even more alive, and you can connect with them. And now, even in October, I'm ready celebrating and decorating for Christmas.
Oh my God, I love that.
It creates this bond. But yeah, there's the number 8, which is wild, because even this octopus. I mean, it's so funny. I've loved the octopus forever. I don't know what it is.
Really?
And my lucky number is 8, which is why I know he's communicating through the number 8.
Oh my
But then I also, and what I was going to say is the octopus has now become like a symbol for chasing glory because he was here when this whole thing was born. So the podcast was born, which he was so proud. Well, the octopus has 8 legs, right? So it just really represents a lot for me. But then I realized that the 8 is also the sign of eternity.
Yeah.
So he's trying to tell me like he's eternally going to be there for my sister and I.
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
because even my sister's gotten the 8 sign, and that's not her lucky number, so she's trying to understand it. My mom, same thing.
Right.
And then we were like, oh, it's the eternity sign. Like, he's there for us eternally. So I want to let people know that if they had a loved one pass, it does take time for them to communicate, but they can communicate, and they will. And then just take that he's my angel.
Yeah.
He's my angel.
Yeah,
and I'm sure your
100%.
dad is overseeing and so proud of you. I'm sure, was he proud like with everything with WWE?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's crazy because I tell this story of like, that was like our thing when I was like 12, 13, 14 in my like, early teenage years. Like I loved watching wrestling and he loved it too. And we would watch it together. And that was what we would do together, right? That was our thing. And I remember my mom would like walk in and she'd be like, you guys don't watch that. Or like, it's too violent,
Right.
And my dad would like, so whenever she wasn't around, we would watch it. And so it's just so crazy how it all, happened too, when I got the phone call about, them being interested in hiring me. And my dad was like, yes, you have to do it. I mean, all my family was so proud. But it was just so cool that was like our thing.
Yeah.
And, and
that's the same thing with my dad and I.
Yeah.
Like it was our thing.
Right.
And my mom and my sister would be off
yeah,
watching
they're like,
pageants
what are you?
or whatever.
Yeah, they're like, what are you watching?
But it's so special to know that too, and then the connection with wrestling and all.
Exactly.
It's so great. Now you were discovered though from a catalog, is what I read.
Yeah, like a bikini catalog, and it's called Venus Swimwear.
John Laurinaitis?
Yeah, he was friends with the guy who was running it.
Okay.
And he was like, I need, some like beautiful like model, but we want to try and kind of see if they're athletic. And he was like, I'll send you a few of the girls that I manage who I also, who are doing, modeling. So he sent over pictures, and me and Alicia Fox got hired together, actually.
Wow.
They found, because
I remember you guys coming in.
Yeah, Lou was managing her too, and they liked both of us when we went and tried out, because we went to Atlanta and we had our tryout, and they liked both of us. And so, we moved to Louisville together. We lived together.
I remember when
together.
you guys came into the lunchroom one time. I guess, I don't know how long you had been there before you were given the tour of Raw.
I want to say we were only there a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
I remember you guys walking in and I went, oh my God, there are babies.
I felt like a baby. I was like, oh, and everyone's looking at us like, what are we? We're just like deer in headlights. Just like, what are we doing?
This is Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia.
Wow, fascinating. I love these type of interviews. You learn so much about somebody you think you know, but not until you get into the nitty-gritty. And let me tell you about the nitty-gritty of something. If you're out there and you are trying to start a business or know someone that is struggling, that is starting a business, that needs a website, needs logo design, needs business cards, something as simple as that, but something that can make so much difference, and they don't know where to start, where to go, how to afford to get a good designer, well, look no further, because I'm here to tell you about Design Crowd. Design Crowd has over 700,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco. They're pretty much all over the world. And the way this works is that you're going to post a brief describing the design that you need. Design Crowd is going to invite those 700,000 plus designers to submit their ideas to what you're looking for. Now, within hours, you're going to receive your first design, and over the course of next 2 to 7 days, a typical project is going to receive 60 to 100 different designs from the designers around the world to choose from. Whoa, now that makes it amazing, because then you just pick the best design and you approve the payment to the designer. It is that easy, and it is that affordable. And I mean affordable because right now I'm going to give you guys a Chasing Glory VIP offer. To start you off on your project, you can save up to $100 That's right. Save up to $100 on your next project. All you have to do is go to designcrowd.com/glory and make sure that you use that discount code GLORY. That's designcrowd.com/glory with the promo code GLORY. DESIGNCROWD.com/glory. Use that promo code GLORY and you're going to get up to 100% off. Now you have no excuses. Good luck to you. All right, and something else that I want to talk to you about, because as you know, we deal with issues here on Chasing Glory, real life issues, whatever it is that you're struggling with. But more and more, you're starting to hear that people have talked to either friends or counselors, somebody to help them get by. Well, I want to tell you about BetterHelp, because BetterHelp is right there on your phone. It is a mobile therapist that walks with you. How awesome. You don't even have to make an appointment to actually go and sit in somebody's office. That's right. They have over 3,000 U.S. licensed therapists across all 50 states. They're also available worldwide. Now, they have 4 modes of communication. You can text, chat, phone, or video with your therapist. And you can start communicating in under 24 hours. Right now, you can go get the help that you need, whether you're suffering from depression, stress, anxiety, dealing with relationship issues, sleeping, trauma, anger issues, family conflicts, grief, self-esteem, LGBTQ matters, anything like that. Guys, don't try to do this alone. It feels so good to talk this stuff out and to get a perspective from the outside in. All right, so for all my Chasing Glory listeners, I love this. We're going to help you guys out because this is going to be a truly affordable option. Chasing Glory listeners are going to get 10% off your first month with the discount code of GLORY. So all you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/glory and make sure you use the promo code GLORY. That's betterhelp.com/glory with the promo code GLORY. betterhelp.com/glory with the promo code GLORY. Get the help you need today. You're going to feel so much better about it. All right, back to the show.
Now, more Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia.
So how was it for you, now looking back, for you to get into this industry, traveling, like the boys?
Right. Oh my gosh, at 19 too.
At 19, look back. Do you feel like you got in too young? Or you feel like you had to grow up too, like really fast?
I feel like it helped me grow up. I mean, I feel like, I had to grow up very fast to be, especially like just traveling and like having to drive 300 miles a night. And like, I wasn't even old enough to rent a car.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even.
How did you guys travel together?
So I would travel with like Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Sabu. Like Dreamer took me under his wing and he was just like, all right, awesome. You'll travel with us. Because it was ECW too. Like,
right.
I feel like they were just throwing me to the wolves. Like, they're like, you're not going to Rochester, you're going to ECW where it's a real hardcore and they just call women obscene names and you are just really going to have to get some thick skin. I remember the first night I had to walk out. We were doing a bikini contest. It was like me, 2 of the other girls in ECW.
Was it
the
Layla?
Originals?
Layla and...
No, it was like Francine. This is like ECW Originals. We were in the ECW Original Arena in Philly.
Wow.
Like hardcore, like people are screaming like, you're a crack whore. Like, I was like,
oh my God.
This is what this is what ECW was about. Like,
right.
This is what it was. And I remember
God.
Paul Heyman, I remember Tommy all trying to like warn me, like, look, this crowd, you just try and block them out and just do your thing. And I was like, all right. And I just remember walking out and I took it like they were like, boo. And they were just like, you suck. Blah, blah. Like, and I hadn't even done anything. I was like, and I became like, what have I done?
Did you feel like, what am I really here to do?
I was just like, you know what? I took it a day at a time. I was like, I want to prove to everybody that I'm not just a model, because that was like, it was very new into the model thing. I feel like in wrestling, like especially in ECW.
Yeah.
Like they hadn't seen anything like that before, and I hadn't. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna prove everybody wrong, and I'm gonna make it. Because they're like, you're never gonna make it. There's so many guys and girls who are like, you're never gonna make it. You're 19 years old. You don't have what it takes. Like, good luck. like,
and then
okay.
your competition
All right,
side
the competition.
kicks in.
I was like, don't underestimate me, okay?
Because you seem so sweet.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I just kept my mouth shut, eyes open. I was never involved in like politics. Like I just was like, whatever the writer's gonna write for me, I'm just gonna go with it. Like, you know, when it's my time, it's my time.
Was there ever a storyline that you were like, oh God?
Well, how I first started, I was like an exhibitionist. I had to dance on live television, stripped down.
Yeah.
Till basically a bra and underwear, and then really go for it and take the bra off. And then Mike Knox, my jealous boyfriend on the show at the time, would have to cover me up. But it was like, I would have to do these, and I'm 19. I have no rhythm, number one. I can't dance.
Right.
I'm trying to get naked in front of like millions of people. This is insane.
I can't imagine your dad going, wait, this is
he
not
was just
exactly
like-
what I thought you were going to be doing.
No. The whole family was like, well, I mean, you got your foot in the door. Let's just.
So they were okay and supportive?
I didn't tell them what I was doing that night. I just had them watch, and they were like, why didn't you tell us you were doing that? And I was like, well, because you were going to watch. And then I was like, it's not always going to be like this, guys. Okay? We're getting the foot in the door. We're just going to see how long this goes. They'll eventually put me in a position where I don't have to do this anymore. Because I know how wrestling works. I know. You know what I mean? You're not always going to do the same storyline forever.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah. So when you finally got training and you got to wrestle, how good did that feel for you?
It was great. It was so great. I mean, I had trained for so long before they let me wrestle. I was training on my off days. I was training on the days I was working in on the road. I was like, when am I ever going to get to wrestle? Because even after I did my expose, they brought in Layla and Brooke, and we did the extreme expose, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is never gonna end. And they finally let me, the ECW, ended, and they moved me to Raw, and they were like, okay, you're gonna wrestle now. So I kind of got thrown into it, and it was great. I loved it. I had the best time, and every match I just always, it was great because I didn't have to really play a character. Like I was playing Kelly Kelly, but Vince would just go out. He would be like, go out there and be you. Mm-hmm. You have what fans, you're the underdog, and you know how to make them feel bad for you, know how to make them, cheer for you. Like, just go be you. Yeah. And so it was great. I just put myself, times 10 or 100 in all the matches, and do you wish was there something that you feel like was left undone? That no. So I feel like I got to do everything. I mean, I was the champ. I got to, and another thing, like I got to, go and see that was a whole thing, like going to Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah. Like I remember I was just turned it was not even 20 yet. It was like one of the first ones.
Wow.
I was in 2007.
Okay.
And I was just like, what? And I remember we went to the hospitals in Germany, and Vince was like, don't let these guys see you cry. He was like, you have to stay strong for them. He's like, you're going to see guys with like no legs, no arms. And I'm like, these guys are going to be my age, like right out of high school, went into the, army, like, so I was just like, oh my gosh, so young, never, you can't prepare yourself to see that either. So I just remember walking in the rooms and I lost it. I'm like, because they're crying, because they're so happy. They're so happy to see us come in there and like, see them. And I was like, and Vince was like, get it together. Get it together. Oh my God. I can't. I had to walk out. So like, I was just like, oh my gosh, get it together. And, but that was every year I always wanted to go overseas. I always wanted to go, and I always wanted, because that is the most rewarding experience. Like the ring and going out and performing, yes, but like going overseas and seeing the troops and seeing everything that they do for us, and just it gives me it was such an honor to be able to do that every year that I was there. I was like, Vince, I have to be on the trip. I have to go,
We had such good times
we did.
together.
Oh my God. We did. Oh my gosh. Even the plane rides over there. Just on
my God.
Oh, bless.
Plane ride. People don't know, like, the plane rides are not like your regular plane.
Not
it's
glamorous.
A huge plane. Number one. Steel
seats.
Yeah. But it's huge. Like,
huge.
It's so tall. You're walking around, but then the steel seats, and it's hours and hours.
It's like 18 hours.
I'll never forget the very first time when we got close to Iraq, and they were like, okay, put your helmets on, and you're on the plane. Put your helmets on, And then they turned off the lights. Remember the red light that's inside the plane? I'll never forget the sight of that. And like everyone is so quiet, like silent. Like before getting there, it was party time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like it was party time.
And then it's like everybody everybody was sobered up, like real quick.
And then when they were like, guys, we're going into enemy territory. We need you to put your helmets on. We're going to turn off the lights. We need you to stay quiet so that we don't get picked up.
I know. I was not comprehending any of that. Like I was just like, that wasn't resonating through my mind at the time. Like I was just like, oh, okay, yeah.
And then when we're sitting there, I was just like looking around going, oh, it just got real.
Yeah.
It got real. And then when we were visiting all the troops, and then I don't know if this ever happened to you, because I don't know, we got split.
Yeah,
into
we had
groups.
all different groups. Yeah.
Were you in the group one time where? Because I think Bradshaw was. I can't remember, but I was in the group one time. We were getting ready to start the signing when they were like, helmets on, and a mortar came in, and we were in the dugout. Too? I was with Mickey.
Okay, because I remember they had to land at somewhere, a different camp.
That was her and JBL.
Oh my gosh.
They landed the helicopter, and I think they got shot at. Yeah. No, that was a different group.
I remember hearing about. No, I was never.
So I was in the group. I can't remember who I was with, but literally we land. They're like, okay, we're going to take you to the signing, where all of a sudden they're like, helmets on, go to the dugout. So I put the helmet on, go to the dugout. Mortar comes in. Everything, they're like, clear. And then they put us downstairs and we start the autograph signing. I'm like, oh, what the hell just happened? But
that's how it was. Like, they're like, well,
we just got attacked. And now we're going to autograph signing.
That's how it is. Especially over there. Like, they're like.
Oh, but you said it. Yeah. So rewarding. But I remember I would cry. Every time I left, I would cry because I'm like, I get to go home. Yeah. They don't. And I remember getting off the plane and literally kissing the ground and going, thank you, US of A. I love you, like an appreciation.
Right.
And it seems like nothing is that big of a deal, the things that we make so big here.
1,000,000%. And being at such a young age and experiencing that, like, I remember we were lying in those steel, like remember when we were in the one camp and it was just steel beds, and like no windows, and you're just in this room.
Yep.
And you're having to fall asleep. And I remember the alarm go, and they're like, and everybody's like rushing, and we're like, oh my God. And then we had to go, I think we had to go into the cafeteria. I don't know where we went. But I just remember like, oh my gosh, this is like, this experience, you can't even describe it. No. Like you have to be there and experience it for yourself to really get it.
I just keep hearing the helicopters overhead when we were trying to sleep, and and the helicopters going off.
You can't see anyone. You're in this room. It's like a prison. You're like,
the worst was trying to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom.
Oh, and it was like far away.
Far away. Do you know what I ended up telling? I've never even shared the story. But because I don't know that you were there to the last ones, because I don't know when you left.
I didn't leave until 2012.
Do you know if we were still doing?
We weren't going overseas. Well, they were only doing like 5 people.
Okay, then. So we were still going overseas. Okay. So maybe you were with me, because Mickey James was there.
Yeah.
Were you in the bunk when I said, girls, we're not going to be making the trip down far anymore? Here are cups.
Yeah. No, I remember.
And we just peed in the cup.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah. Just pee in the cup, and we will pour it out the next day. Yeah. Right? Because it dawned on me, I'm like, this is dangerous.
It is. To walk out in the middle of the night?
To walk out in the middle of the night, go so far away.
Yeah.
And also, you never know if some bomb goes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, just pee in a freaking cup, and we will toss it out in the morning. And that's what we did.
Perfect. I was like, I don't need to
trek.
I will pee in this cup. I will gladly. Yeah.
Oh man, it was so much better. We were like, oh yes, okay, great.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Because the guys could just step outside and just pee.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, us girls. So if you're ever in a situation like that, just pee in a cup.
I am an expert peer comfort. Pee in the comfort. That was like our travel when we would travel too, because oh my gosh, I had to pee. I had the bladder of like a 5-year-old. And all the girls, I remember one time, it was so funny. Oh, bless Layla, sorry. I had to go so bad, and we were in such a rush, and I think it was Eve, it was Crystal, Layla, Brooke, and me. And I was on the passenger side. I think maybe Brooke was driving.
Yeah.
and I had to go pee, and they're like, no, you have to. And I was like, I'll just get on the side of the road. They're like, no, just pee in the cup. I was like, fine. I used to do it all the time when I was a teenager. Like, I'm from Jacksonville.
Right.
You know, I'm from the South. It's a thing. So I did it, and I had the cup, and I didn't know. Layla had her window down, and I threw it. And Layla's like, it's in my mouth. Oh my gosh. It was the most, everyone is dying. I'm not kidding. I was like, this is amazing. Like, it's so bad, but it's so funny because she's dying laughing too. But she's like, because she's British, and it's just like her accent. Everything.
In my mouth.
It's in my mouth. And oh my gosh, it was so fucking funny. So that was my pee in the cup story. So, oh bless.
Have you ever shared that?
I feel like I don't think I have.
I love it.
I think Layla shares it. Layla shared it before because she hates it. She's just like this. People are like, "Oh, what's a rose for?" She's like, "Well,
here's
Kelly,
one."
Kelly. It's like,
I know her better than anyone else.
Oh my god, I know, so bad.
That is awesome. Oh my god, the road stories. My god,
so
do you miss traveling with the girls?
I do, and it's funny because I hated driving.
Okay.
And so we used to travel. It was like me, the twins, and Maurice. And then Eve would come too. Like sometimes we would, we'd have the van. And all the girls knew, like, they were like, oh, Barbie. Like, I would drive bad on purpose just so they're like, Barbie, just stop. Like, I had the worst etiquette too. Like, I remember Candace and Victoria would tell this, like, Mickey, they would always be like, oh, because the etiquette's where you, like, drive, you stay awake. Yeah. Oh, no, I fell asleep. I was the worst. They were like, oh my gosh, really? I just was like, I don't like to drive. I want to go to sleep. So I was the worst when it came to driving. I was terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And it was so fine. And like, I would drive bad on purpose. And they're like, no, you're not driving.
Oh my God. Do they know that? Do they know?
Yeah, they got very privy to it. They were like, okay, we see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's true. I don't drive. I'm not a good driver at night.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it.
It was so funny. I miss traveling. We had some really good times, and going overseas was always so fun, and getting to see, going to Europe and going to Asia and, going there and Australia. I mean, we got to see so many amazing things. And
what was the most challenging point of all?
Definitely like being so young and like still kind of like feeling out like, I don't know, just life, and just being away from like my family, my friends. I mean, I didn't even know how to do like laundry. My mom had done I didn't know how to cook. I didn't have any of those skills you should be learning. I had none of them.
I remember you actually invited me one time. I was in Florida.
Yeah.
And you weren't there, but you said you could stay at my place.
Yeah.
So I remember walking in. There was no furniture. There's no furniture.
I'm tired of my
clothes all over the place.
Clothes and like a bed.
And a bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is life on the road. Like, you have no time to do anything.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, for years, I didn't have furniture. I mean, because I was never injured. I was never, and I was on the road every weekend. I was never off.
So you were home one day.
I was home one day a week. And when I was home, I just wanted to sleep. I wanted to do...
Yeah, he's not like, let's decorate the house that I'm never going to be in.
No. I was like, no, I don't... Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was very bare for very many years.
Now, is it cool that you have your place and decorate and...
I mean, it's taken 13 years. But I finally, like, have my own... Everything is my own. I've decorated my place. And it's just so me, and it's just so, I love it. It's very homey. It makes me feel like, I can't wait to go home. I have my dog that I got about a year ago, and she's just amazing. And, and I still travel. Like, I do, like, a lot of Comic Cons. And so I like, traveling, like twice a week. It gives, it makes me, excited to go on the road. And then I get to go home and be home for a while. But
you and I are actually doing one I saw in November together.
Which one?
I don't know. It's at the end of November.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I'll see you. I think it's in North Carolina.
Oh, perfect.
So we'll see. Yeah, I saw you on the list. I was like, oh, I'll do it if she's doing it.
I know. That's why I'm always like, okay, let me see who's on, and then, okay.
Well, because it becomes like a weekend
like a mini
that we can hang.
reunion too.
Yeah. Totally hang.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can ask, hey, can we sign together? Like,
Oh, it's like
fix each
WrestleCade. Is that
other.
WrestleCade?
I think,
yeah.
yeah. That's it.
Cool.
That's it. Yeah, so I'll be
Yay,
good.
That's fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I always look at that too and go, who's going to be there? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that you fall out with that you were like, oh wow, they're going to be there. Let me, see them again, and it is a reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Totally is, because I always say to people, this is really a family.
Right.
It's like if I saw you at an airport and when I go to hug you, I'm hugging you like a sister.
Right.
I'm hugging you like a member of my family because we've been through so much together. We understand the road. We understand, the pressures and all, which I want to ask you something about the pressures, because I feel like there is such a pressure, especially as women, for looks.
Yeah.
Right? Keep your look, this and that. Instagram, huge pressure.
Right.
I see you post a lot. Has that become like a business for you a little
Yeah.
bit?
That's all my business.
That's all your business.
Yeah, I've made it into a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's, I'll let you keep going though. And then,
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So social media, it's been amazing. Like, but it's from WWE. It's from, it started with Twitter, and then it started, and then Instagram got big. And I just was like, I started back into model after WAGs was, having WAGs, that really helped too, because it helped, the female demographic side. So I have the male demographic from WWE, and so I had 50-50, which is great, and insights for Instagram when you're trying to, when people are want you to post for them or whatnot. So I remember I got a deal with Fashion Nova was it been 2 years? A year and a half ago, and they approached me and they're like, look, we're doing these deals with influencers. You just we'll send you the clothes, we'll pay every month, you'll have a 6-month contract, whatever. And so I started doing that, and the deals just started coming in, and I started building my fan base. And after you hit 1 million, you get a lot of your brands really want to work with you. So I've signed with Fashion Nova, I've signed with Pretty Little Thing, all these huge Instagram companies, brands, fashion brands, because that's what everybody wants, affordable fashion now. No one's going out and buying $500 dresses, $1,000 shoes, because you can get the same exact thing.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? So it's so great. And I love that I can, show my fashion and to everybody. And I get so many compliments from women and men, where'd you get that? Oh my gosh, my wife will look great at that. Or, a girl would be like, oh, where is that from? And so, it's great that I have that outlet to, and that's kind of how I started kind of this, because I've always wanted to just be an entrepreneur. I want to have my hand in so many different things.
Yeah.
And so, with the fashion, it started with the fashion stuff. Now I'm doing a CBD beauty skin line, care line called B Beauty.
Oh,
because
cool.
CBD is the big. I mean,
it is.
It's so crazy.
It is,
but it works.
Okay.
I truly believe in it.
Okay. Yeah.
And especially, so it's I'm starting with a face serum, a cooling salve, so an icy hot, but and it really you put it on sore muscles. I have lip butter. And then I have a lotion, body lotion.
Oh, cool.
So we're starting with those.
And it's for Barbie.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
so
it has my signature on the package. It's
awesome.
It's really, really cool.
When does that launch?
So it's launching, our launch party, which you have to come to, it's in 3 weeks at Soho House.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to launch around there. So we're just getting all the everything just done. And then, So that's launching. Yeah, so it's been, and then I'm doing a wine, I want to do I love wine, so I was I want to do a line of wine, kind of the twins are doing, but I'm starting small, I'm let's start with a rosé and, do something like that. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for, and going back to your question about, WWE and looks and having to keep up this certain,
the pressure of that.
I feel for me, coming in at such a young age, I kept up, I never felt the need to get breast implants or change my body. I've always been very comfortable with my body, and my mom was if you get, if you do anything to your face or your, and I was okay, I just don't, I never really felt I needed to, and I felt very good and comfortable in my own skin. and either you like my look or you don't. Like, I'm not going
Right.
to change it for anyone. And everyone would be like, oh, you're just like blonde. You look like them All-American, whatever. And I'm like, well, that's my look.
But that's you. It
That's
fits
me.
you.
Yeah.
It's not like you trying to be anything.
No.
You are the All-American girl. Yeah.
I'm like, that's just me. And I am very lucky and blessed in that way. Like, I haven't taken like the whole social media with body and like, you know, so many girls get so impacted by it. And I think it's so sad with like, you know, where we are right now, especially with the body image stuff. And
Yeah.
I think we're definitely coming up. I think the fact that like Sports Illustrated, I think Victoria's, like that they're now getting, you know, bigger models. And we were just at Miami Swim Week and I walked in a swim week, and Sports Illustrated was doing a show, and they had a woman who was still breastfeeding walk on the thing, which it's like
awesome.
it's so great where they're like how far we've come
Yeah.
as women and as, you know, body positive. And I think we're getting away from that, like the really like, oh, you have to look like this, the cookie cutter, you know. And
right.
so
Do you find that do you feel pressure, especially because Instagram is now your business, to have enough likes, to have the, you know, the views, the numbers, because it's all about numbers.
I mean, it is very, it is, yeah, you definitely are like, oh my gosh, like this picture has to be good. Like I have to get this many, you know, just for yourself and for your business. Like you're
Right.
promoting, you know, clothing or your piece. So I like when people are like, oh, you're just an Insta model and I'm like, do you understand how much work it takes to do this stuff? I'm like, I take a day and I'm lucky if I get 9 photos that I like, because it's like, you have to be in a different outfit. You have to make it look totally different than what you're going to post. You have to be in a different space. You have to have a different look. You have to be in a certain pose. You have to have it. And it's like a science. Like it's really like a science, and you have to have an eye for it or you're just going to look stupid. Like,
Now,
you know
how
what I mean?
often do you do these photo shoots?
So I do them once a week, and it takes like 12-hour days. But I bang out, like, you know, I get the content that I need for that week, and
You
it's
got
not
a photographer?
yeah, and I'm gonna. It's not cheap. Like you
Yeah.
have to spend the money on the photographer, your hair, your makeup, you know, where you're gonna shoot. So it's not, everybody's like, oh, you just take a picture on your iPhone. I'm like, no, no, it does not work like that. And
Right.
you really have to put the effort into it.
Yeah.
Or these companies are like, we have 100 other girls who look like you who we could be
Right,
paying that.
right.
So what are you going to do that's different?
So do you feel the pressure because you're trying to increase the numbers? Obviously, you know, I know that there's some pictures that are sexier than others that are
Right.
going to get higher numbers.
Right, yeah.
So does that make you go, okay, well then I have to do this butt shot, I have to do this, and whatever, like...
Well, when I was younger, a few years ago, like I really, you know, when I was like single, like I was like, oh, I'm single, like I don't mind posting more body stuff. But then as I'm getting older, like I'm like, okay, I shouldn't, and I'm not going to post a butt photo like that, or where it's risque look. Because now at my life, like I'm 32, I'm not 21, you know, I'm going to do what I feel is best and what's classy for me and what's still going to get likes, but not in a trashy way. Like I have learned over the years how to do that. And it takes a lot, like it's not easy. It's not
Right.
something that you're like, oh, I'm just going to be completely covered. And no, you just
Yeah.
have to find ways to here and there do certain things. And when you get in a relationship too, like it also, you want to be respectful of who you're dating, because that's a big thing. Like I've found that a lot, like, you know, if you're dating somebody who's not like familiar with Instagram or like, you know, having to post these certain kind of shots and stuff, like you have to make your partner feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You have to make them feel like, oh, okay. Like I'm like, you know, there's certain things where I'm like, babe, what do you think? Is this too risque? You know, and he'll tell me, and because I respect his opinion, and I don't want to make him upset for something that, because I really don't need to do it. Like I'm still gonna get the likes. I'm still,
Right.
you know, I just maybe don't push my butt as far. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
certain angles that you can get to where it just doesn't look.
Right.
You know,
right.
and so I think it's just important. You just have to respect your partner, and especially with social media, and not trying to like really, like, it's like, why, you know?
That's the thing. There's so much pressure now. Like this generation that's growing into it, right? Like
insane.
we all got introduced like, whoa, it's here,
Right.
Right, but there's a whole generation that they're born into this,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
And so the more of the likes and the this and the that, and the more pressure of, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to show everything in order to get people to notice me, and then there's
Exactly.
that and then. you don't feel good about yourself, and ay.
Yeah.
It's like the spiral
Oh,
thing.
it goes on.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll have days where I'm like, oh, I have to post today, or and then I'm like, I need to post because I need to get these brands, because I need to get there. I need them to still want me to model for and work for them.
Right.
Because like I said, you have 20,000 other girls.
What if you didn't do this? What would you be doing?
That's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, like I've seen myself like things that I didn't know that I love. Like I love to cook, which I never thought I would. Like I obsessed with cooking.
Wow.
I tried to do it a few times, and I taught myself. Like I didn't even know how to boil water. Like
Okay.
5 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to a few cooking classes and stuff like that, and so I'm really into cooking.
Great.
So I feel like I would want to do something in that. I don't know. I feel like there's so many things, and I love wine. I would love to be like a wine taster. That would be amazing. Like I have a
Sommelier,
Yeah,
sommelier,
sommelier.
yeah.
Like that. I'm really good. I'm really passionate about the beauty care, like the skincare line.
Yeah.
But I mean, these things have come about because of my social media.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's been a blessing, really.
Yeah.
Because but I love doing reality TV too. So, I enjoyed that.
Would you do
I
another
would probably
show?
do another show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just have to be it'd have to be like a competition show.
Oh.
I don't know if I could do one with my life
Yeah.
again. Maybe. I don't know. Like maybe. I don't know.
So I never
I'm not going to
say
say
never?
no. Never say
Yeah.
never. But
Well, besides the whole thing with your husband on there, were there other traumas that were, the drama that was going on with the girls and all that you were like, oh God, what did I sign myself up to?
I actually really liked all the girls. And
that's
here was
good.
the crazy thing. So when I was getting offered the show, all the girls had known each other. So this was when E was like, hey, all these girls know each other, so we need you to bring on a friend. So you can, I'm like, well, I don't trust anyone enough to bring them on, because you've seen Housewives. It's like they're best friends and they throw each other under the bus in 2 seconds. I'm like, no, I don't trust anyone enough to do that, because you never know. Like drinks start flowing, the producers are in your ear. Like, no, I'm like, I don't need that show this bad. I'm good. And they had already shot the pilot, so they were like, okay, well, we can't bring you on because there's going to be no chemistry. It's going to be weird, awkward. And I was like, okay, fine. A week before they were about to shoot the first episode, they called me. They're like, E really wants you. They don't care if you don't know anyone. You're just going to have to act like you've known these girls for years. I was like, well, we'll try. Let's see.
Yeah.
So the first night I started filming, I walk in and I had to act like I know I am just meeting everyone on camera for the first time. I'm like hugging everyone, like, hey girl, how are you? Hey. Oh my God, it was so fun. But we all just kind of talked, and all the girls were so sweet. And we all had an understanding, because it's E. It's not like it's a Bravo or VH1 where it's really like they're really trying to dig in, deep into your soul, right?
Right.
It's like very surface level, like, oh, well, she said that you wear fake purses, or you know what I mean? It's just little dumb stuff. Like, it never really got really, intense. And we, as a group, decide, don't hit below the belt. Let's give them a good show, but don't hit below the belt. And so we all had an understanding about that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So why do you think it didn't continue?
I think they got new owners of E, and I think it was trying to, more of the women's, what was it? The Me Too movement, anyway, kind of all that stuff. And so women empowerment was happening, and she was like, this show's not women empowerment. It's about wives and, basically just living the lives of their husbands, And I'm like, well, I kind of disagree with that, because I feel like we were all doing, all these girls, they were married, but they had their own stuff. Like, one had a makeup line, somebody had they all were all doing things.
Yeah.
So I didn't really agree with that, but I was like, whatever, if that's what it's going to be, it's what it's going to be, right?
Right.
So.
Do you think it could ever resurface again?
I would love for it to, if it was in another concept or something, but I still talk to a lot of the girls, and
that's
so
cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
That's
we're
cool.
like, oh, we need to do something again.
Wow.
So you never know.
Well, I'm loving the journey that you're on now. Congratulations
you.
to everything because you are hustling. So you're doing it. I love it. But I also love how much of the growth that you've shared with us.
Thank you.
You have grown.
Yeah.
You think about that 19-year-old girl, what's the biggest thing that you would tell her looking back?
Oh my gosh. I just feel like I wouldn't change anything. I'm so happy with how my journey has went and how it's what it's turned into and where I am now, because I was forced to grow up. I was, and I just feel like if it wasn't for, WWE and having the experiences that I had, I wouldn't be this person today.
Yeah.
And so I don't regret any. I
love it. So
keep on going, 19-year-old me. Do you?
So as we wrap this up, I always love to ask the question, has your chase for glory looked the way you thought it was going to look?
Yes.
Yes.
It has. It's been an amazing journey. My life, obviously, I didn't know that I was going to be a wrestler. I never planned on it, but it has led me to who I am. And yeah, so
like when you just knew that you were going to be in the limelight somehow, some way.
I just knew I was going to be out there doing something.
And your sister, does she?
So she did modeling. Like she's a golf caddy, actually.
Oh wow! What's the age difference?
2 years.
Older, younger?
Younger.
She's younger.
Yeah,
oh,
she's younger. Yeah, she moved to Australia. She's in Australia now.
Wow.
Yeah, she met a man. They're like, I think about to get married soon. So she can, stay over there, and she loves it. So.
I'm sure the whole thing with your dad bonded you guys.
It did, because we, being so close and the age, like we were always constantly fighting growing up. Like it was always, butting of the heads because we were so close. But it was, there was a lot of love. But my dad, that was his only thing. He just wanted us to get along and so after that, we talk all the time. We see each other now, not so much. She's in Australia, but we keep, we try to talk every day and.
It's wild. So. It brought my sister and I back closer together too. So there's the silver lining in everything.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much. Tell everybody how to reach you on social media.
You can reach me at the Barbie Blank on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of it.
All right. So it's just the Barbie Blank. I know you as Kelly.
Yeah. I know your assistant came out. I was like, Kelly. And I was like, oh yeah, that was my name.
Which, by the way, I got to know, when they told you were going to have the same name twice, Kelly, what was your first response?
I just didn't, I was like, so he had given me a list of names. And he was like, what name do you like? And I liked Kelly.
Vince?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I like Kelly. That's cute. And I think there was a Barbie named Kelly. So I was like, well, okay, it's kind of in the Barbie. Okay. And it started off as Kelly, and then it was Kelly, and I was like, well, I'm not asking questions. It's cool. Like nobody has two first names. Let's just go with it.
It works.
People are gonna catch on.
But I still think your name, Barbie, would have been amazing.
I tried to say it. They're like trademark.
Barbie's trademark. Duh. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
That makes perfect sense, because I was like, why would you change the name Barbie? It's
Everybody
perfect.
asked that too. I'm like, trademark.
Trademark. Duh. Okay. Well, Kelly, it worked. Thank you, honey. I love you dearly.
Thank you so much.
Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia.
And there you have it. I told you. Sweetheart, right? And just a good spirit. There's something about her that's so infectious. And so, Kelly, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story. As you know, I know you majority of the time as Kelly, so I call you Kelly, but I do know your name is Barbie. But anyway, just really want to thank you for sharing your story. And, something that we talked off camera was the fact that her aunt had died from breast cancer. I bring it up because, as you know, it is Breast Cancer Month. And so just want to remind you guys out there, please get checked regularly. My mother is a breast cancer survivor because she had a mammogram. And I continuously get mammograms because of that. So just make sure that you take matters into your own hands and just get checked out. And you guys too, you're not out of the woods. It affects men as well. So just tell your loved ones, make sure that they're getting checked out. And for anybody that's going through breast cancer right now, please know that you can recover. It is tough. I mean, I saw my mom go through this. I don't know firsthand, knock on wood, but she is a 29-year survivor. So you can survive this, and the best to you. But anyway, just want to thank Kelly for your amazing story, for coming on Chasing Glory. Remember that you can see the episode at Chasing Glory. You can check it out on YouTube, and that is youtube.com/Lillian Garcia. And then you can also follow the show at Chasing Glory Podcast. on Instagram, and then at Lillian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter, and Lillian Garcia official fan page on Facebook. Make sure you continue the 5-star ratings and subscribe. That helps the show, as well as you can listen to it on your favorite podcast platform. Until next week, make sure you guys go out there and live with much peace, love, and passion. And remember to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. Mwah. See ya. Join me in the PFL. More fights to come.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lillian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends and be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.